Welcome back. Andy Morris here in my studio. Glad you could make it. Let's see where we left off, or where I left off, whatever. This is where I ended this painting yesterday. And after looking at it for a while, I've decided that I don't want the hair going all the way to the top. So I mixed up some more background color. And I just used a little house paint that was kind of a putty color, and I added some yellow. So this is kind of a yellow putty color. It's not a beautiful color, but I think it'll go well with this. And I'm just going to come through here like, I didn't mix it up too well. I'm just going to come through here like this. And I'm not even going to define that edge real sharply. I don't want to. I want it to have kind of a ragged look. I was looking over some of my other paintings done in this style, and I realized I've tried too hard to make this one perfect, you know. And that's what happens sometimes, you know, when you get to the 5th or 6th or 10th painting in a series, you start trying to make them perfect. You know, unfortunately, the video that the camera on my Chromebook captures doesn't really give you all the nuanced color variation and stuff that's in this. So I don't really know if, I mean, in the video, there's a chance that this looks identical to this, you know, that I haven't changed the color, but it has changed. Or it is changing. Get this on there real quick, and we can move on. I love to paint, but I don't really love to paint walls, you know, and that's when you're painting a large area, you know, it's like painting a wall. You know, maybe that's one reason why I don't prime my canvases. That and the fact I don't think you need to. I mean, the canvas I buy is sold to me as primed canvas, so I don't see the point. You know, but some people think you have to. Whatever. All right, so I've also decided I want to lighten this a little bit more, this area here, which isn't too difficult a task. Just need a semi-clean brush. But I don't want it to be bright white. So I'll get a wet brush. No, a wet, dirty brush. I didn't mean for it to be this dirty. Just blot it out a little bit. Let's see what I got here. Yeah, okay. So and you know, acrylics generally dry duller and lighter, you know, than when you apply them. If you don't want them to be, you know, if you don't want them to dry dull, you know, if you want them to dry with a more brilliant color to them, you can add a little gloss medium, you know, mix it up on your palette there. But you don't have to. You can also varnish your paintings afterwards. If you buy the Liquitex makes a product called gloss, medium, and varnish. So I just get it. So then if I do need to varnish a painting, I've got varnish. One reason is because I'm very sensitive to chemicals, and I've tried using varnish that just says varnish on it, and the fumes give me a horrible headache. So I just I use a product that says gloss, medium, and varnish. They sell it with the intention of people using it as varnish. So I do. Maybe I like that. Okay. So what else would I do to this? Well, actually, what else I would do to it is I'd work on these stripes down here. I can add, but the problem is I can't. Okay, so I can add some black up here. I can't really, because I did the background. I should have done that last, I guess, but because now I can't really put tape down here because I'd be getting it into the to that background color. But I can work on the hair a little bit. I like that, I guess. Maybe I can make this a little bit darker. You're not going to really be able to tell that this is darker, I don't think. Maybe, but it is. Whoops. Oh, I'm going to leave that. Evidence of process. To me, the brush strokes, the the areas like this, the roughness, the crudeness of the whole construction of my paintings is what I call evidence of process. Nobody's ever going to think that this is a photograph. I really don't like paintings that I'm like, is that a photograph? Because I don't see the point in that. I mean, we got good cameras, so I mean, if that's the goal, take a picture. Seems easy enough to me. People spend months and months. I think that looks better. Do you think it looks better? What are people saying? Hello, people. Hi, Andy. Hi, Sherry. How do you figure a price for something like the headshot? You mean for these paintings? Well, I mean, I just make up a price, quite frankly. Depends on how many bills I got due. If I need $100 real bad, I'd sell this for $100, even though, the canvas was probably 30, and since I painted on it 12 times, it's probably cost me $100. But I'd sell it for $100 if I needed to pay electric bill or something. I mean, I'm not in any galleries or anything right now, so but I mean, if you're if you're in any kind of gallery, then you need to match those prices. So if they're charging $1,200 or more or whatever for your paintings, then you need to charge the same amount. Even though you're not, I mean, you could charge less, but in my opinion, it's ethically wrong to do that. And the galleries would agree with me, because you'd be undercutting their prices. So, so that's that. But when you're just selling out of your studio, I mean, my prices are negotiable, is what I'm saying. I don't advertise that too much, but then I haven't sold any paintings in a while either. COVID kind of put a hinder on that, because personally, I'm not going anywhere, and I'm not letting anybody into my house. So anyway, all right. So I think, well, let's see. I could try to put, because what I want to end up doing here is just maybe a little bit more contrast in here. So I'd put in some, I guess you could call that a black line. That's not quite black, but anyway, I'd put in a few more black lines, probably introduce some white lines, some real thin ones. I thought I had a painting I could show you. But generally, to do that, I would use tape, because my hands aren't, really steady. They seem to be pretty steady today. I guess I could try it. What's the worst that could happen? It's just a painting. You can always paint over it. I don't know how many layers you could actually do. I don't know if anybody's, before they stopped. I guess you could build up 1,000 layers. I don't know how thick that might be, but. All right, so this is white. Let's see, I think it would look groovy right here. Now my hand, okay, so my hand's steady until I got paint on my brush. Then my hand shakes. All right, that makes sense. That's what's been happening with my pool stick. All right, see, something like that. It's a little, well, it's going to dry duller, so I'll wait and see. Then I could repeat that kind of line over here if I can. See, I might let that one just kind of fade out like that. That's something I like to do. Variety, in my lines, my stripes, everything. Everything gets a little variety if I can. Well, I'm at that piddling stage now, so I don't really know. Okay. All right. So I'm going to work on a different painting. But that's what I would do. I'd just come back. Like, I'd probably put a black line here and maybe another one over there or something, just to try to give it a little more contrast down there. I might do some more work up here, and that's about it, really. And then I'd shine it. And to answer your question a little bit better, the price I'd like to get on these, or that I was charging before COVID, was $200 a square foot. So that's a 2x2 painting, 2 foot by 2. Well, it's 24 inches by 24 inches. So that's 2 feet by 2 feet, 4 square feet. And so that'd be $800. But which is still less than what I was getting when I was in galleries, But galleries are so fickle. They all represent like 40 artists, at least in Dallas. That's the way it is. It's not unusual for a gallery to represent 30 or 40 artists. And they can't really do that. They can't really represent 30 or 40 artists, in my opinion. There's only 52 weeks in the year. and they're going to have their favorites because they're going to have, artists that are already popular and already, have a following and everything. And naturally, they're going to want to show them more frequently. So you're lucky if you get to be in even one show, a year. And then if you don't sell anything in that show, why would they want to put you in another one, So it's just, God, did I film that whole thing with that? No, I probably did. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh well, life goes on. What are y'all saying? You are saying, and how do I get rid of that? There, okay. Christine, I think it's about painting too realistic. Yeah, just buy a photo, right? I don't get it. I want my paintings to look like a painting. Somebody said yes. Yes, okay, yes. Do you sell prints or merchandise? I have them available. They rarely actually sell. If you go to Fine Art America and look up my name, Andy Morris, you should be able to find me if you want to buy a cup or something, And there may be a downside to doing that. I've heard other artists say that I just put a whole bunch of paint on my floor. Okay. Try not to do that. I've heard a lot of artists, professional artists that are actually making a living, say that, it undermines the value of their work. And I could see that, I guess, I don't know. I think if Picasso was around, I think he would probably do it. I think, personally, I think he would be on Redbubble or FAA or wherever. I think he'd be selling T-shirts and coffee cups. I could be wrong, but I think he would. I could be wrong. I don't know. So to answer your question, yes, I have them available, but they hardly ever sell. I'm not really a marketing genius. If I was, I'd be rich. Because that's where the money. If you're, if you have a good business sense, you only got to be a fair artist. You don't have to be a great artist, But if you got a lousy business sense, then you either need to hand it off to somebody else, like a gallery, and let them take care of it. But the problem is with gallery, you need to be. Most of us, need to be in more than one gallery. We need to be in a dozen galleries, or at least 5 or 6. Good galleries, around the country, because this is standard policy too. When you are approached by a gallery, you're going to sign a contract, and in that contract, it's they're going to have exclusives, the exclusive right to sell your paintings in a certain area. Usually it's the city, like Dallas. It's the city, but the only real gallery. I said I was in galleries. I was in I don't know what you'd call them, home furnishing stores, but they were eclectic home furnishing stores. And I worked with designers, which weren't, technically galleries, but they had client lists of, people who could afford expensive paintings. And that's when I was selling paintings for thousands of dollars. So technically not galleries, but the only gallery that approached me, and gave me some insights into how it worked, they wanted to represent me, but I wasn't going to be able to show anywhere else. Well, I was already in like 5 of these little places, right? And I was like, I'm not gonna pull all my paint, because they're selling my paintings. They're not getting thousands, but they're getting hundreds, and I was making some money. And because sometimes they'd sell 10 or 12 paintings in a month, between all 5 of them. So it was a almost living or something. It wasn't. It was a rice and beans lifestyle. But anyway, I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. Oh, but they're going to want an exclusive. So that means that if you want to be in more than one gallery, you got to be in more than one town. So there's a lot of legwork involved. But it's doable. Artists do it. But if you're good at marketing, then I mean, honestly, if you're good enough at marketing, you can sell snow cones to Eskimos. So, if you got any kids, send them to marketing school or teach them how to love rice and beans. So here's one of the ugly paintings, but it's just gruesome enough to me, that I like it, But it's done in the same way. This was an old painting that had the drips and everything. I didn't bother to put any stripes in it, really. I mean, the drips made the stripes. It was part of what I call my rainy day series, and I sold a whole bunch of them. I might have eventually been able to sell this one, but it didn't sell after 5 years and probably 100 people seeing it. So I just decided to paint over it. When COVID happened, I really wasn't in a position to buy a whole bunch of paints or art supplies, so I just kind of dug through everything. I found sketchbooks, I found pencils, I found all kind of art. I found a whole roll of canvas, unstretched, but I'll have to stretch it. But I mean, I found all kinds of art materials I didn't even know I had. So I had a plan on what I was going to do to this. Now I don't recall. Okay. Well, I think what I'm going to do is grab some black paint here and maybe just start developing some of the contrast. A little bit, maybe around the teeth here. I really have a lot of fun making these faces, and it is something new. I'm going to show you how it started in just a minute. I'm going to show you some of the first ones I did. It actually started with cats. I was painting some wild looking cats. I kind of like that. Maybe. Okay, so let me show you this real quick if I can get to it. Well, here's one of them. Whoa. All right, let's see. Can you see this? Yeah, okay, maybe you can see that. That's one of the wild looking cats. And that's where it all began. And I may go back to those. These were fun to paint too. So I painted about 5 or 6 of them. Oh, here's here. God, I'm dropping everything. Okay. This one's titled Scaredy Cat. So that's Scaredy Cat. That other one was COVID Cat. And I guess I'll put that right there. So and so then from the cats, it evolved. From the cats, I took a left turn. I found some paper and some. I found a bunch of little sheets of canvas. You can buy sheets of canvas. I mean, they come in like a book, like a sketchbook, only it's sheets of canvas. And so I started working on those. And so I did a whole series of these, COVID-19. So I did 19 of the. I actually did more than 19, but I did 19 that I was fairly satisfied with. Are they all upside down? Okay, so there's another one. I won't show you all 19. I didn't even photograph these. I don't know what I'll do with them. They need to be framed naturally. This one, that one, no good. This one no good. That one was one of the first ones. But anyway, they're a lot of fun. And this was just my response to, this is just my response to COVID. This was back in I guess early, like March, maybe April. It was probably April. There's one. So I call them my COVID-19 series. There's 19 of them that I'm willing to show. All right, how long is it? Are we going into tomorrow yet? Well, it's pretty late. What do y'all have to say about all that? I should start reading these comments. Galleries here in Colorado charge per month. Wow. Yeah, that's generally considered a vanity gallery, and vanity galleries are, prolific. They're all over the place. You can get in a gallery in New York City if you want. Costs you about $500 a month, I think. It might be more than that. And they'll give you not a very big. I mean, if you like to paint big, you might have to pay $1,000 a month or something a month. And will anybody actually go into that gallery? I don't know. Maybe. But there's a lot of people trying to make money off of starving artists. It's kind of pathetic, really, I think. It's like I don't pay to show my paintings. I mean, I might go hang out in a park and show my paintings. I've thought about doing that. Just the rich side of the lake. There's like a rich side. Well, both are all around. There's a little lake called White Rock Lake right by my house. All the homes around there, right around the lake, are not cheap, but there's a less expensive side, and then there's like $1 million homes. So I would go on that side, because those people can afford to buy my paintings. I've started painting over older paintings too. Yeah. That I won't have to. Yeah, buy new. Exactly. Because it gets expensive. None of us, I don't think any of us are headed towards, celebrity status where we're selling everything we can paint as fast as we can paint it. I mean, if you are, hats off to you, but I'm certainly not. Although I get surprised sometimes. I've dug out old paintings from 8 years ago and somebody wants it. So, if I had the money to stash all my paintings, but that's another thing too. It wasn't long ago I had like 100 paintings in my studio, and I just, and then that's when I started coming into the house with my paintings. So now everything's in my house, and so I don't really have a house. It's like there's a downside to living where you work. I think maybe. Like the faces too. Thank you very much. So glad to watch you. Thank you. COVID 1984. Yeah, good point. I don't know if I want to do 1,984 of them, but depends on how long this lasts. I ain't going nowhere till there's a vaccine, personally. I mean, I realize everybody's got their own opinions about this. Some of my friends think it's a big hoax, but I think they're wrong, and I'm not willing to risk it. So, because I've got asthma, and the last couple of years, I've had bronchitis twice already, and that's without any COVID. So I don't want to find out how bad it is or how bad it isn't. That's, and I was already kind of a recluse anyway. So it's not like I, was involved in all these civic activities or anything. I mean, basically I went to the grocery store and shot pool one night a week, and that was about it. So essentially I just gave up pool shooting. All right, well, let me let you guys get back to whatever you're doing. Maybe some of y'all could put up some live videos too, bring us into your studio space. A lot of us are stuck at the house, so, let us know if you do. And until then, I will see you next time. Your friends are correct. Be careful of rush vaccine. Well, thank you, but I'm not going to be careful. I'm going to get vaccinated, but thank you. I mean, to each their own. You do painting videos. Okay, well, let us know That's Experimental Productions. We don't know your real. I don't know your real name. I don't know if you're Harold or Maud or maybe that was from a movie. Okay. Talk to you later. Not tomorrow though. Monday. See you Monday. Have a good weekend. Bye.